Welcome on to the first show of 2026 for the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. I'm Nico Kritsotis. Let's wish it's a very, very successful year for everyone out there. Coming up on today's show, it's my privilege to welcome onto the show the Hall of Famer Mike de Kock with his son Matthew. They make up the team of de Kock Racing, and they've been a very formidable force since they joined forces last year in 2025. We're talking to them about the upcoming King's Plate, the Lawrence King's Plate run down in Cape Town, as well as other matters concerning their horses in their yard. Later on the show, Nico's Notebook, we'll have a look at the upcoming Cape Town Met betting and what's happening in that, as well as the latest standings with the Jockeys Log, Craig Zaki and Richard Fourie fighting out that at the current moment. That's all coming up on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet, your very first show for 2026. Okay, so it's our special guest for the first time this year, 2026, and it's great to have them on. I've been trying to get them on for the last month, and we've eventually managed to do it. It's Matt and Mike de Kock that are joining me on the show, part of de Kock Racing. I want to first of all welcome Matt to our very, very hot studio, but a warm welcome to you, and thanks very much for agreeing to come onto the show.
Yeah, thanks, Nico. Thank you for having me. I follow the podcast with great interest, so I'm excited to be on.
And it's very nice to have you on because it's your first time. I think I'm interviewing back since you returned from Australia. I know we interviewed you way back in 2020 when you first went over there, but we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But standing by with us in KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, in a much more cooler room than where we are, is your dad, Mike. And Mike, thanks very much for coming on board, and all the best and for the festive season and the new year ahead.
Cheers, Nico. Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's talk about last year for you, Mike, very quickly. I want to start off with you because it was a special year in your career because you were inducted into the Hall of Fame, and that's no mean feat. It was just Ormond Ferrar slightly before you that was inducted first, and then you. And it was a very special occasion that was held down at Hollywood Bets Greyville. And it was a tearjerker, actually.
Yeah, Nico, it was a hell of a moment for me and us as a family. It really is special to be recognized by your country as opposed to the industry you're in for your contribution to your sport, your whatever you do, and to the country itself. So it was a very, very special moment. That's right up there, with anything I have ever experienced in racing, that's for sure. And it was, as you say, very emotional. It was some of the people that are nearest and dearest to me, some of the people that got me to where I was, that were all there in attendance, who were able to witness. And so, massively special. It's very, very, very special.
And Matt, just going back to you, I mean, you started off in this yard very, very young. It was almost straight out of school. But when I read your profile, you were thinking of going into golf. You thought, had you already been accepted into college, into America?
Yeah, I'd already had a commitment from a university in America for a golf scholarship, but it only started in August of the year following my matric. So I had a bit of spare time, needed a bit of spare money. So I thought I'll go work for mom and dad and earn some cash whilst I got a bit of the gap. But day one, when I walked into the stables, I think it was shortly after matric vac, I knew exactly what I need to do next, and that was phone the university to cancel my scholarship because I knew exactly where I wanted to be.
So that was it. It was already in the stars.
It was already in the stars, and I think my dad was extra happy because I saved him a lot of money with the schooling fees at university, and now at least I was contributing to the business. But growing up, I always was an avid follower of racing, but I never really was one for waking up early in the morning and going to track. But once I'd been in the stables and experienced that side of it, the bug truly bit me, and there was no looking back.
I mean, we age ourselves, Mike, because I remember coming to your yard when you had Mr. McDonald in your yard and the great Igugu there, and you'll know that story. It's well documented that we used to joke around about Mr. Mac. But the bottom line is, he said to me the one day at the Vaal, he said to me, look, you think that this horse is a champion, so in future you will do all the interviews because my English ain't too good. His English wasn't great, be honest.
You were his interpreter, I think.
Yeah, I think I was his interpreter. The point being is that, Matt, you were there at the time when Igugu was there, and she was like the apple of your eye, wasn't she?
Yeah, well, she was really early in my racing career. It was basically in the first 6 months of me working in the stables. Dad had, the process of in the winter taking most of the horses down to Durban, the warmer weather, and she walked in the stables. I think it was maybe June of that winter, and Dad had left me with 25 horses and said, "Crack on, phone me every day, tell me what you're doing, why you're doing it, and let's let you learn that way." And she walked in the yard that winter season, and I think I phoned my dad after, like 6 weeks of working with Igugu, and I said, I think we have a champion here. And his words probably can't be quoted on this podcast, but he basically said to me, "Lati, you've been in the game for 5 minutes, just settle down." But it was that obvious, as soon as you started working fast and upsides other horses, that she was certainly different to the others.
Absolutely. You've got an affinity, Mike, with Dutchmen, though, because there's another Dutchman on the scene at the moment that you've had a long association with. I mean, Hank Leonard, I met Hank Leonard, a proper Dutchman in the true sense. I met Hank many, many years ago when I was a teenager commentating in Zimbabwe, and he was so passionate about his racing. Well, I tell you what, to reignite that man and to see how happy he is these days with Jan van Gooyen is absolutely amazing to see. But let's just go back a little bit, back to when Epi Tombi came to you from Zim. What were your first impressions when you first got her?
Well, obviously the story of how I got it, through Hank and remembering him and tapping me on the shoulder in a betting queue. But he, then obviously I'd gone and looked at how she had won in Zimbabwe, and obviously she was winning quite well, and she was, looked a really good filly in Zimbabwe. And then what part of the deal was that Nolene Peach would train her for the Guineas, send her down to me a week before. And she'd run in the Guineas. I think Jeff Lloyd rode her, and then stay with me, obviously, from then on. But I must be honest, with the greatest respect to Jeff, it wasn't his greatest ride. And he actually got off to me and says, "My Lord, I butchered it. But this is a serious race." She ran second, never beaten again, funny enough. And I realized that day, this is something special. And then working with her into the Classic, it was like, this just got better and better, faster, you name it, every single day. It was very seldom you'd see horses just take a step up, step up, step up. Whatever you ask, whatever you do, they just do more, bring it on type of thing. And she won her next start for me, and I think she broke the track record that day in the Classic. So, she was just
and the way she won the Will Hamilton,
phenomenal racer.
The way she won the Will Hamilton, she cruised in that Will Hamilton.
It was a joke, Nico. I think if it was the Will Hamilton or the Guineas, I can't remember so well, where Kevin got stuck in a pocket by Pierre, which was quite clever race riding from Pierre. But Kevin didn't panic. He just sat. And honestly, a lesser racehorse would have got rolled. And she just got out and bang, gone. Race was over within a number of strides. As was the July. I think in the July, if she was drawn well, sat fourth on the fence, she would have won by 3 or 4.
And she proved herself, obviously, in Dubai. But when when you got onto her back, where did that idea come from? Did you suddenly say, "Let me just get up here"? Yeah. Did someone plant the seed in your head? What happened there?
No, there was a seed. Well, but that time, I remember reading a story about Sid Laird jumping on his first July when he was back or something.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if I was being interviewed by somebody. Somebody interviewed me and they said, "What do you do if you win?" And I think they didn't expect. I said, "I'll jump on Epi Tombi." And they said, "Well, we're going to hold you to it if you did it." And I think I can't remember exactly who it was. That person will remember. Reminded me as I was walking down. So I said, "Well, what the hell? I'm going to do it." She can get top weight immediately.
Who gave you the leg up? Who gave you the leg up?
Probably Peter Dunius, because it was very hard to get ahead of him when it came to leading in winners.
No, he was there first. I watched it again last night, actually. He was there first, yeah. He was there first.
Frankie Zaki also used to get his way in there every now and then as well.
No, I think he led in Dynasty. Dynasty was definitely one that Frankie Zaki led in.
Yeah, no, Frankie's, he was, when you blinked, he was there. I don't know how, but he got there. Just one of those life memories, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're with him now, 23 years later. You've got the King's Plate favorite, Jan van Gooyen, for him and his daughters.
Yeah.
You know, and he's formed this partnership with his daughters, Daniela and Louisa, and it's worked out so well. I mean, you've got a proper racehorse there. Just quickly, how have they come on for the weekend? Both of them.
Yeah, listen, it's a hell of a ask, Nico, for a 3-year-old. I mean, I think I stand to be corrected. You'll know more than I would. The last time a 3-year-old won, was it Give Me the Green Light?
No, well, One Stripe won last year off the same rating.
Okay, sorry, yeah, that's very recent. Sorry, yeah.
One Stripe won off the same rating last year. I was looking at it at 118.
11 3-year-olds or something.
Correct. Yeah, it haven't been many, but the way that it's panned out recently, it's the good 3-year-olds will do well because they get that 5 kilogram.
I mean, you know, again, it's how good's this crop this year? So there haven't been too many of them exposed to older horses at this level. I'm of the opinion this is not the strongest crop I've seen. So, you know, there's always that doubt in the back of your mind. I think he's going to have to be a lot better than his rating on Saturday to win the race. Because right now I think he's getting away. I mean, could the horses he's beaten, could any of them be competitive in the Queen's Plate? Would you back any of them? Would any of them be shorter than 100 to 1? I don't think so. You know, so, you know, I'm not... I'm a fatalist when it comes to the. I say get out there and race. Let's see. He's either as good as or better or not. It's as simple as, you know, and we'll find out afterward. That's what I love about weight for age racing. When there's say like 3 different generations, there's nothing better than a race. You see that in Australia a little bit, where there's a 6-year-old Group 1 winner, a 7-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old young gun come in and take them on. You quickly know which of the generations was the great generation, and I think that's what Saturday will tell us. You know, it's not ideal in terms of preparation because you're coming down and you're staying down. Now it's almost 5 weeks that he'll be there. I have seen horses flatten out in that time before, and I have seen horses thrive. Socrates got beat. I think Matthew, didn't he? He stayed down and got beat, but he ran a very good race. Got beaten to a horse that won 2 Julys. So there's a hell of a lot of question marks on Saturday. I mean, for me, that's you know, and I'm quite comfortable with it. You know, win or lose, we'll know. You know, afterwards what we have or don't have.
What's your take on him on the race on Saturday, Matt?
Yeah, my takes. I'm very happy to have those 2 horses
and drawn 1 and 2,
and drawn 1 and 2.
Yeah.
You know, Callan and Ryan, nice young up and coming riders. I'm very excited for the race. Like Dad said, you know, it's a great race, and Dad's only won it once in 30 odd years of training. Just, you know, shows you how hard it is to win the race. So hopefully we can get it done. And
you guys have also got Constellation running for the great group of owners, and we have to mention them because, well, are they all going to be there? Because then Cape Town must clear out.
I think most of them will be there. I think
Ray will be there.
Will be there.
I think Ray will definitely be there.
Ray will be there. He's everyone's bouncer, so he'll take care of things, keep everybody nice and tidy. But again, another 3-year-old at weight for age terms taking on the older horses. It's fantastic. You know, if a 3-year-old can beat a Dave the King or a Buffalo Bill Cody that's in the race, then they're proper horses. But these young guns, they're still pretenders at this stage. They're still flashes. They haven't done it yet.
Let's talk about Callan Murray, because you went to Australia, and I'm sure he rode for you over there. And you came back. Did he follow you back, or did he just make the call that he wanted to come back home?
Yeah, obviously Callan, he came over sometime after I went to Australia, and I wanted him to come live in Melbourne, but unfortunately his visa restricted him to living in Adelaide. So he had a handful of rides for us there, but we always kept in touch. Outside of racing, we're good mates. So he came over, spent Christmases with me, etc. And when I made the call to move home, and we started out here at home, I was getting a little bit frustrated with, like 1 week you got one jockey riding for you, then the next week a different one. And I didn't like that inconsistency and all the success I'd seen, Dad and Aidan O'Brien and Coolmore, Godolphin. It comes with stable jockeys. And I believe in the team atmosphere. And I think a stable jockey is key to that. So, I had this idea that, I messaged Callan. I said, well, there's a gap here for you. There's an opportunity. Do you want to come home? He wasn't exactly, fulfilling his dreams in Australia and a bit going up and down in one spot, and he jumped at the opportunity to come home, and it's just gone better than he could have imagined. So,
absolutely. I mean, he's just ridden brilliant races. I mean, when he came back and I saw him coming back, it was like a boy had become a man overnight, Mike. He was a boy when he left. He was a mature adult when he got back, and he's ridden the same way. I mean, how are some of those, especially on Day of the King, two cracking rides? I mean, he's come of age in a big way.
No, there's no doubt. That leaving your boy, coming back a man is exactly summing it up. But I think also the racing in Australia, it's massively tactical because of the tight tracks, no false rails. So he's actually learned quite a lot about pace, tactics, placing of horses, that he would have learned here. I mean, you couldn't teach it to a jockey here, because our tracks are quite forgiving. I mean, a jockey can ride the worst race of his life at Turfentine and actually still get away with it, provided it doesn't sit too deep. But it's we've got a lot of forgiving tracks. And I think that's the key, is that he's learned about pace and he's learned tactics, and his studying of the races and that kind of thing is also very sound.
Yeah. Talking about your family, I just wanted to find out where the ladies fit in these days. I mean, Di, your mom, and your wife, Monique, are they fitting into the scene still?
I guess they are fitting in the scene mostly as a support role these days, which is very important. Mon, having had the two young kids now, it makes it difficult to be there early in the mornings, but she gets there when she can. Obviously, her first passion was racing, so she worked with me in Australia, and then once she fell pregnant, she took more of an admin role. So she's doing those sorts of things now, and maybe one day when the kids are a bit older, she may step back into the stables. And then my mom's now living down in Durban with my old man. She goes to the stables there from time to time, and then flies up here every week to 2 weeks.
She still deal with the youngsters though.
Yeah,
she used to.
So we've still got the team working here with Vivian, under the guidance of my mom, just now from a different location, and she comes in, every couple of weeks to put her eye over the babies and make sure things are going smoothly.
And your sister's in America?
My sister's in America now. She's got 3 kids, married an American. They were living in North Dakota, just moved back to Montana, so horse country. He lives on a ranch, so can't really escape the horses wherever we go.
And she's coming back soon for holidays.
Yeah, they're going to be here for 2 months now for a holiday. So hopefully we can maybe sweeten the holiday and they might move back.
It would be remiss of me, Mike, not to ask you about your other son who scored a fine knock yesterday at Centurion, Quinton. Now, I just want you quickly to tell everyone, if as briefly as you can, because there were some people that confused Quinton de Kock as your son.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to mention the man's name because, sadly he's not here today, but he was a great patron of the industry. And I think in his latter years, when he was possibly losing it a little bit, he phoned me that one day and he said, "You've got to be extremely proud of your son." So I'm thinking, well, Matthew's doing well. It's on TV every other day, leading in winners, what have you. So he says, "It was a hell of a knock the other day. He's really batting well." So I didn't blow it, I didn't burst his bubble. I said, "I know, extremely proud. The kid's doing very, very well and what have you." But he was dinkum convinced that Quinton de Kock was my son. So anyway, he went to the grave. He went to the grave with it.
Absolutely. And he did score a fine knock last night. He hits it all over Centurion. It was a fantastic thing to see. But it was a great story and one that I'll never forget you telling us. Now, I quickly want to move on to you being like, it almost is, you're a trainer of horses, but you're also a trainer of trainers, Mike. Matt and I were sitting here trying to think of how many guys that have come through your yard have got their own trainers licenses. And we counted at least 8 or 9. So you, in your early years, were with Ormond Ferraris, and he was another school that turned out these trainers in their own right. You've got to be proud of the fact that all these guys you see around you, and there are quite a few of them. And I want to mention in specific because he's my Zimbabwean mate, Vengi Masawi, who is just doing so well. But there's a number of them. You've got to look and say, that's another feather in your cap, because they've gone out on their own and they've all done particularly well.
Yeah, it's nice to see as well. And, I've always been an open book, Nico. I'm very open about what I do and whatever. There's no secrets, you know. I mean, everybody in this game have got all their suspicions about trainers and what they do and don't do, and it's just half of it such nonsense. But you know, I really enjoy actually seeing people do well, and you might have had a little part of it. And I mean, the story of Vengi now is just an amazing story. Honestly, you know, when he first went there, and we were, you know, contemplating going to live in Australia and trying to find our top staff positions in the industry. And he went there, and he was then assistant to Trevor, I think it was at the time. And I said to him, Vivian, Vengi, you are in the one place that I know you're going to get a chance. I was just so sure that Hollywood, it's their ethos, and that they try and uplift people. And with him being a Zimbabwean, an ex-Zimbabwean, he just fitted in so well in that Hollywood family. And I think the opportunity came way quicker than anyone expected. But he's taken it with two hands and run. And you know what, Nico, if you look at his horses, they look unbelievable. They stand out in the parade ring. Coats are shiny. They look fit. They look well conditioned. They run into form. He's got a high strike rate. It's been an absolute revelation. And it just, you know, and he's come through. He's done the hard yards, Vengi. He got nothing on a plate. He worked to where he got, and then he got an opportunity that he hasn't thrown away, you know, because I've seen a lot of guys in his situation be given opportunities. And they, you know, sometimes they don't do themselves and the people giving the opportunity, they do them a disservice. This man, and I mean, I could tell you, he used to do my office stuff as well, sit there. I didn't even know how to put on a computer. I had Vengi put it on the computer, printing me the weights, sending him emails and all this. For me, I had no clue. I had less clue than Johnny G. Now, do you know how much that is?
And that's nothing, almost nothing, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, he's an intelligent, presentable human being. It's fantastic to watch, and honestly, and hats off to Hollywood for giving him this chance. And you know, that's the whole thing with how Ashburton has. I always said them from day one when they started there. This is a blank canvas, and every day you're going to be painting a new picture here, and that's what's happening there. And that's one of the pictures that's been painted there. That's so fantastic to see.
Brilliant. Well, 2026 is the start of a new year, and may he go well and from strength to strength. I want to just ask you, Matt, about a couple of horses that I've identified in your yard, and hopefully both of you can elaborate on them, that I've seen from the commentary box and I really, really like and think they've got great potential, 2-3-year-olds. So let's touch on One Eye in Vegas, because he really is an impressive looking horse.
Yeah, he is, Nico. He's a son of Buffalo Bill Cody, and nice, big, strong horse. He's got an exceptional turn of foot. You know, haven't quite worked out what's his best distance just yet, but he's unfortunately bumped Trust on 2 occasions, and we all know how good Trust is. But he's running on Sunday in the Got the Green Light Stakes 1400, and we've got Gate 1, which is a big advantage to him, because both times he's actually raced against Trust, he's been drawn outside of him and not had an easy passage, which is probably what we need to turn the tables on a horse like that. But I think he's also that even in the last 2 months, he's certainly taken a nice step forward and improved. He was a very good winner last start, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he goes on the weekend.
And from the fillies' perspective, I have such a keen interest in Drumna Drochert, only because I've just seen how she's come on in her races, and I really enjoy her. What's planned for her? Yeah,
she's shown us from day one that she's a stakes potential filly, but over a long trip. So we're gearing our whole season with her towards an Oaks. We did throw her in the deep end in the Fillies Mile, which was drawn terrible. She sat last. I think she gave them a hell of a head start, and she made up a lot of ground to only get beaten 5 lengths over a trip way too short for her. I mean, she kicked off her career at a mile. So we're going to just build her up all the way up to the Oaks, and I think that's when you'll see the best of her.
So, Mike, I'm going to come back to you, because there's no doubt you've got a very strong string at the moment. You've got a lot of horses, both down in Durban and here. You guys, as a partnership, are 4th on the log at the moment. There's only about 100,000 I saw last night between 2nd and 4th. So it's a clog up in those positions. But it's the blonde trainer in Cape Town that leads the way by a considerable distance. What's your aim I know you're not watching the log every week and to see where you are, but your aim is obviously now being a formidable force back. Your heart's back into it. You can see that you G'd up about the whole thing. Are you planning on challenging for that top spot?
If you're successful and you're getting your horses to run well and you're building your stable, which is what we're doing at the moment. I mean, we've come from, I think we started last year, February, when I was down to 30 odd horses, not a lot, and we well over 100 today, but very much in a restructuring, rebuilding phase. We've been very, very lucky to get huge support from Hollywood. It's been massive to have them on board. It's formed a really good association. Lawrence Werners has been another massive supporter. I'm talking now new owners that have come on. Jason Muragasa. We've been very lucky. Matthew, if there's anyone I've forgotten, you'll remind me. But that those are the three I can think of in particular that have made quite a difference to the numbers and the quality of horses that we do have at the moment. And we've got a very, very young string. I think Matthew was saying the other day that we have 100 horses that are 3-year-olds and younger. So we've got very few older horses. So that's bodes well for the future.
It not only bodes well, Mike, but there's something that you said to me when it was the Mike de Kock Ipitombi Stakes that you really fired up about going back international. Now, why that interests me, what you said to me at the racetrack there that day at Turffontein, was because you've been there, done it, and you know that the type of horse or the standard of horse that you need to win in a place like Dubai. Is that on the cards for this later this year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we can't go to this carnival now, early this year, because it's obviously
for the end of this year.
From a year from now, we would most definitely want to be there for sure. And I mean, I think that's the aspirations of that's everyone in the yard at the moment in terms of the ownership base. It's definitely got to fire Matthew up. He's seen and done it. You see horses like Give Me Another, One Stripe, the other filly that Gaynor owns, I can't think of the name now, the Graham, all been highly competitive abroad. And America's Beach Bomb, that's right. And, and Matthew seen it himself. He used to say to me all the time, Dad, I wish I had a Wamia when he was in Australia. It'll win a Group 1. So, I mean, we know that our top-end horses are good enough to compete. They're having... it's not just a South African thing that you've been sort of quite emotional about. We've been there and done it and seen it. I've seen horses win and beat European Group 1 horses. Our top-end horses have got it in them. So that's, it's frustrating to sit here, look at a race in America and think, geez, I'd love to get there. But you're 8 months, a year down the line before you get there. I mean, it's just insane what we've got to go through, So, but that is most definitely on the cards. I mean, it would race my motor, would most definitely races Matthew's motor. And, I'd like to see a lot more horses in America, funny enough. I think we've got a real good chance there on the turf of our horses being, Group 1 winners there one day.
That's also on your bucket list, obviously.
Yeah, well, we've actually been fortunate enough to be there and race horses in America, but American racing really excites me. So, yeah, to go back there is something I definitely want to do.
It's great having both of you in the studio. It's been great catching up with you. I know that it's going to be a great year for both of you. I've just seen how those horses have just been stepped out, and I'm just wishing you all the best. If I can say goodbye to Mike first, all the best. Carry on swimming in that sea, that proverbial sea that we say, and just make a go of it, Mike. All the best to you.
Yeah, loving it down here. Thank you, Nico.
Okay, and to Matt, thanks so much for coming into the studio, and good luck with your family. I know it's a young family. I know it's, being a dad, I know how your dad feels when your kids do well, and you've got such a bright future, and congratulations again.
Thank you, Nico. I appreciate that.
Welcome back to the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. And again, special thanks go to both Mike and Matt de Kock for coming on today's show and chatting about a bit of the topical news around their stable. We now move on to what's happening for the rest of the month. Well, for the rest of the season, actually, because the jockeys table is looking pretty interesting up at the top. You've got Craig Zaki at the time of recording going on 114 winners for the season, ahead of Richard Fourie, who has just gone past the 100 winner mark with 101. And way back in third is Callan Murray. Spoke about him earlier on, what a cracking season he's having. He's on 70 winners, followed by Calvin Abib and Muzieni both on 66. The betting is obviously in earnest. At the moment, it looks like a two-horse race with still half the season to go between Craig Zaki and Richard Fourie, but anyone else could suddenly come up and win it. But at the moment, Craig certainly looks to hold the cards there. We also have the upcoming Cape Town Met running on Saturday, the 31st of January. And I was looking at the betting last night. Justin Snaith, we also spoke about him a bit earlier on. He has a commanding advantage in the trainer's log at this part of the season. He's got 8 on 18, who is the favorite to win the Cape Town Met at the end of the month at 18-10, with See It Again, who's now joined his yard, in at 5-1. Garrix is quoted at 6-1. Sail the Seas is at 7-1. And the Durban July winner, The Real Prince, is quoted at 10-1. But it does look like Justin Snaith at the moment holds the key to winning the Cape Town Met, certainly on the evidence of the betting. That's all coming up later on in the month, which we'll be focusing in on here on the Direct Line powered by 10Bet. It's great to be back with you in 2026 once again. May it be a prosperous one for all of you out there. And let's hope that the podcast grows from strength to strength in 2026. From my side, it's bidding you farewell until we meet again next week. Bye-bye from the whole team. Cheers.